Joel Embiid's recent knee injury left fans and NBA players concerned about his return to the court. As experts analyze the impact on the Philadelphia 76ers, there's a growing debate about their game awards. But could there be a surprising solution? Joel Embiid, a key player for the Philadelphia 76ers, recently got an MRI that showed he has a problem with his lateral meniscus. The lateral meniscus is a part of the knee that helps with movements like bending and twisting. This news has made people worried about whether Joel will be able to play for the 76ers. The lateral meniscus injury is a concern because it affects the knee stability and can make it tough for someone to move comfortably. Now, the big question is whether Joel will be able to join the team for upcoming games. Injuries like this can take time to heal, and the team and fans are hoping for the best for Joel's recovery. Injuries are a part of sports, and it's always tough when a star player like Joel Embiid faces challenges. Everyone will be keeping a close eye on updates about his health, and we're all hoping to see him back on the court soon. Embiid won't be playing for a bit because of his knee injury. The doctors and the specialists are working together to figure out how to help him get better. They want to make sure he gets the right treatment. The injury is in his lateral meniscus, which is a part of the knee. For now, the plan is to give him time to heal. They are not rushing him back to the games. This means he won't be playing through the weekend. The medical team is being careful to make sure he gets the best care possible. It's important to take these steps so that Embiid can recover well and come back strong. The specialists are putting their heads together to create a plan that suits him. We all want to see him back on the court, but it's crucial to be patient and let him recover properly. The Sixers medical staff is doing their best to ensure he gets the right treatment, and fans are hoping for a speedy recovery for their star player. The Sixers, without their star player Joel Embiid, are having a tough time on the basketball court. Basketball legends Charles Barkley is worried that the team might face more challenges and could even end up in the lottery, which is not a good thing. Joel Embiid is like the superhero of the team. When he plays, the Sixers do really well because he's so good at scoring points and stopping other teams from scoring. But when he's not playing, it's like the team is missing its main power. Chuck, as friends call Charles Barkley, is concerned because he knows how important is Joel for the Sixers. Without him, they might not win as many games, and that could be a problem. The lottery is something teams don't want to be a part of because it means they didn't do well in the regular season. So, Chuck is expressing his worries that the Sixers might struggle with Joel and end up in a situation they don't want to be in. It's like playing a game without your best player. It's not easy, and the team needs to figure out how to do well even when Joel is not on the court. The seriousness of Embiid's injury is not very clear right now, and we are all crossing our fingers that it's not too bad. We really hope he won't have to stay away from the game for a long time. Everyone is a bit unsure about how bad the injury is, but we're staying positive and wishing for a speedy recovery. It's like when you get a little hurt and you're not sure if it's a big deal or not, but you really hope it heals quickly. Right now, we're all hoping that Embiid will be back on the court soon, playing like the amazing player he is. Injuries can be tough, but we're optimistic that he'll bounce back fast and be back in action before we know it. Let's send good vibes his way for a quick recovery. Joel Embiid, the basketball star for the Philadelphia 76ers, is like a key player for his team. When he plays, the Sixers win a lot, 26 wins and only 8 losses. But when he can't play, the team struggles and only gets 3 wins while losing 9 times. So you can see, he makes a big difference. People are talking about Joel Embiid being a strong contender for the MVP, which stands for Most Valuable Player. It's like saying he's one of the best players in the whole league. Throughout the season, Embiid has been doing amazing things on the court, catching everyone's attention. Imagine if you have a favorite toy, and when you play with it, everything is fun and exciting. That's how the Sixers feel when Embiid is playing. They win a lot, and everyone is happy. But when the toy is missing, things aren't as fun. It's the same for the Sixers without Embiid on the court. Joel Embiid is like the star player for the Sixers in basketball. People are saying he's super super important and might even be the best player in the whole league. Now, there's this rule in the NBA that says players have to be in at least 65 games to get awards, but some folks, like Chuck, think it would be fairer if the rule was set at 70 games instead of 65. They're talking about how players need to be responsible for playing enough games, especially because fans spend money on tickets to see them. Some players use devices to keep track of how tired they are, and that helps them to decide when to take a break, which is called load management. But here's the thing, some people are saying maybe the rules should change, like if a player gets hurt because of something like another player falling on them, maybe that shouldn't count against them. They're discussing if the rules need to be updated to be more fair in these situations. So in a nutshell, Joel Embiid is awesome. Some people think the game rule should be 70 instead of 65. Players need to be careful about how much they play, and maybe the rules should change a bit. Chuck has a plan to make things fair in basketball awards. He wants to add changes for when players get hurt. He thinks this will make the awards fair for everyone. Chuck says winning the big champion is more important than getting individual awards. He talks about players like LeBron James and Joel Embiid saying their team winning is a big deal. But Kenny thinks we need changes, especially when players get hurt because of something outside the game. He thinks we should look at those cases and make it fair for the injured players. Chuck and Kenny also talk about bonuses for good players. Chuck thinks big stars like LeBron and Joel don't need those bonuses as much. He thinks it's not a big deal if they don't get them. To show why changes are needed, Chuck tells a story of a player hurting their knee because of someone else. He says it's not fair that the current rules don't consider these situations. So Chuck wants to make the game awards fairer, especially when players get hurt, and Kenny wants to make sure everyone gets a fair chance with the rules. Shaq says injuries can happen for many reasons, not just because players rest. He thinks it's not fair to blame load management alone. Imagine if two basketball players, De'Aaron Fox and Trae Young, are competing to be in the All-Star team. De'Aaron played more games because he didn't have many injuries, while Trae missed some games due to being injured. Now, some people might think De'Aaron deserves to be in the All-Star team more because he played more games, but others might say Trae is amazing and his skills should be considered even if he played fewer games. Shaq's point is that injuries can happen to anyone, and it's not always about taking breaks. It's about luck and how our bodies work. So when deciding who gets into All-Star team, it's not just about the number of games played. It's also about recognizing the talent and skills that players like Trae Young bring to the game, even if they had some bad luck with injuries. Ernie has a good idea to make choosing the best basketball players fairer. He suggests a compromise for the All-NBA teams, which are like awards for the top players. Right now, there's a rule that says a player must play in at least 65 games to be considered. Ernie thinks we should be a bit more flexible. His compromise is simple. If a player is super talented but missed a few games, we can still think about them for the second or third All-NBA games. This way, we don't just ignore great players because they couldn't play in 65 games. It's like giving them a chance if they were really good when they did play. Ernie's idea is like finding a middle ground so everyone gets a fair shot at being recognized for their skills. It's a way of saying, hey, you might have missed some games, but we still see how awesome you are. In conclusion, Joel Embiid's injury sparks debates on NBA rules, awards, and player fairness. As the basketball community seeks solutions, stay tuned for more updates. Like, share, and subscribe for the latest NBA insights.